Hello, Taurus, and welcome to your monthly forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. This reading is for November, and Apollo's napping behind us, so we're going to get straight into the reading here. This can be used for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus, and as always, we're going to get started here with channeled messages. What I picked up on for your sign was a beautiful symbol. It was a weeping willow, and the first attribute of that is flexibility. Weeping willows survive in certain areas where other trees wouldn't because of their ability to bend and to be flexible. And for you, the same things are going to be true. There may be a situation where you're with a really rigid person or there's a lot of challenging things in front of you. If you're flexible enough, if you're open enough, you can find a way to basically make it work, meet someone in the middle. And you're also going to find that you're stronger than you think. So try to just be open-minded. Try to also lead with a flexible approach with people saying, you know, this isn't how we normally do it, but I'm open to try. I'd also like you to consider this. See if the bend and the give can go on both sides a little bit. And I feel that if you are willing to kind of do that give and take, it's a little bit of a dance, that you're going to be able to accomplish your goals and you're going to be able to meet any challenge or opportunity exactly where it is. The next thing that I want to talk about with this particular symbol is the fact that it propagates easily. So if one of the branches breaks and it just happens to land in the ground, it can take root. This means for you that these are like Ace of Wands opportunities basically. If you have an idea, I really would love for you to plant the seed of intention right now. And in fact, you may find that you have a few things that are starting to move forward. The main thing here is picking and choosing the ones that make the most sense and then basically nurture those, put your time and energy in that. So there's a chance right now for something to rapidly take hold, and weeping willows also grow quickly. So we see the ability to have multiple offshoots of an idea and for all of them to be growing or to be moving forward at a pretty quick pace. So suffice it to say, this is a really good symbol for you, showing strength, flexibility, and the ability for something to take root and to grow pretty quickly. So I'm going to take a look as we shuffle the cards here for any places where you might need to show more flexibility. And let's see if there is an Ace of Wands or some sort of opportunity that's knocking. All right, let's get started. Before we begin, let's give Apollo just a little scratch on the head for good luck. All right, now let's get started. Please take a moment if you haven't already, close your eyes, and I'd like you to let go of anything that you might have been bringing into this reading, whether it's fear or anxiety or just preconceived thoughts, let it all go. Imagine a beautiful bright blue sky above you, and in that sky you can see the sun shining brightly. Connecting to that light allows you to connect to your higher self, and it also brings in the safety of angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. Let's go ahead now, connect with all of them, and ask for the highest possible messages to come through for your highest good. All right, open your eyes. Let's zoom this out just a little bit, and let's get started. All right, let's begin with the Catalyst card. You couldn't ask for a better one here. We have luck coming through. As I looked at this card, Spirit basically whispered that luck is a state of mind. Oftentimes, we can start to either will the luck in or push it away. So if you think to yourself, I feel lucky today, I feel good about this, you start to open up channels of opportunity. If you think to yourself something like, I don't have good luck in this, or this, doors start to shut. So I would like you to imagine that this is a turning point for you. You're making a decision today to change your luck because it very much is openness, projection, and reception. So the other thing here is just be ready when something good comes across your desk to say, all right, let's do this. Luck is just, preparation and opportunity when the two meet. That's a synchronicity. That's what you're really calling in. So meditate this month, if you will, on a 4-leaf clover. Feel that energy of abundance and money and strength and flexibility. All of that coming through. You're going to have more than enough to get nourished and enough to bring you to the next level. Okay? But luck is a state of mind. That was the main thing that Spirit wanted me to convey to you. And today is about opening your mind and your heart up to feeling and being luckier. All right. I like to always take a quick look at the cards to see what the overarching energy is all about. There is a little bit of getting real. Spirit's coming through saying, be honest with yourself, be honest with others. We see the ability to make great strides in business and personal development. There's some love and partnership coming through as well. But we have to learn to trust ourselves, and we have to overcome the 5 and 7 of swords. So those are the big challenges for you, Taurus. Let's get started with the center card. I always love it when Earth comes through for you. You're showing up loud and clear here at the center with the Queen of Pentacles. This is like a green thumb sort of energy. It's showing me that whatever you decide to put your focus into, your effort into, you're definitely going to see a return on that. And that is nicely aligned to the whole luck message that we just talked about. This card is second only to Empress energy when it comes to being able to develop, grow, nurture, and also birth something. It can literally indicate motherhood, but typically it's more about creativity. And you're embodying that creativity and you're calling in more abundance with this card. The question is, what do you want to focus on? And for some of you, are you willing to speak up and ask for what it is that you need? Because typically, this is one of the most giving cards in the minor arcana. She really wants to help everyone, lift everyone else up. This is someone that comes through as a teacher, as a nurse, as an agent, as a helper. But I would encourage you this month to also advocate for yourself. Just like we talked about the willow trees almost being like a sponge and being able to drink up all the water, you can soak up anything that you want to learn this month. So I think this is a great time to lean into education, to training, and to personal development. And yes, some of you may be first-time parents or may be in a new relationship because as we take a look at what's crossing this, we have beautiful water sign energy coming through with the King of Cups. This is probably my favorite minor arcana king card because if I had to work with someone, I'd want to work with someone who's creative, kind, and empathetic, and that's everything that we see here. Yes, this is an aspect of your personality because like attracts like, but it looks like you're calling in someone who might be able to be someone who would really nicely accompany you in whatever the next thing is, whether it's work, friendship, or love. These sort of things are starting to come forth with King of Cups. Now, he also connects to the card that represents you this month, the High Priestess reverse. And it's basically saying, trust your feelings. Trust your initial instinct. It will not lead you astray. If it feels good, proceed. If it doesn't, pump the brakes and look in another direction, okay? I think that creative projects and love and fun, these are the things that you really want to experience more of this month, and I'm all for that. Let's see what's coming through in the deep past. This strikes me more as a karmic lesson. It might be playing out in this relationship, but let's look at the card up front so we can get a deeper feeling for it. So, Seven of Swords. It's interesting that that came through like that because it's happening in the shadows. And 7, whenever there's a 7, there's usually a 5. These are the two sister-brother cards usually. And wherever there's a 7 and 5, there's usually a devil card or a moon card. All 4 of these work in concert, And basically, they're helping us overcome fear, doubt, uncertainty, and they're helping us be just a little bit more honest with ourselves and others. That's the karma here. Speak the truth. And if you see someone that's not standing up and holding their end of the bargain, this is a time to shine the spotlight on that and remind them of the agreement. Say, this isn't what we talked about. You said you were going to do this. You didn't do this. What's going on? Sometimes there's a valid reason because, there might be something going on in their own life. And in that case, you could say this is out of character. Do you need help? Is everything okay? Was I clear? But if it's something that you've seen time and again, you're possibly just going to say enough, right? You're going to cut that out because you don't have time and energy to keep going down that path. In a relationship, if you meet someone, you really vibe with them, but they're holding back, it's a pattern that you don't need to repeat. And I think that karmically, you're going to pick up on it this time and just see it for what it is. And, it's better in the beginning just to say, been there, done that. I'm going to focus on something else. Other things with the Seven of Swords. If you make a promise, keep the promise. Try also not to overextend yourself. It's better to be a little bit conservative when it comes to promises and engagements. And also, I think it's really important to know that if you have to ask yourself, like, is this the right time or the right audience to say something? It's not the right thing to say full stop. Because something that shouldn't get out there is probably going to get out and go back to whoever it is that you're talking about. So speak as if everybody's in the room. Imagine that everything that you say and write is going to be heard by everyone. It's going to change your communication style. You're going to lead with kindness and compassion and accountability. Those are the things that these two cards really represent. So I feel like energetically you've already made the shift, but there could be someone in your life that triggers that feeling to come back. And we see them here in the recent past. This could be a parent because the King of Pentacles is often a mother-father figure. It can be an ex because we have two divine partnerships here in the center, a new person coming in, but the ex may be causing trouble. It could also just be a friend or family member that likes to insert themselves in the middle of your business. Whatever it is, whoever it is, the past is best left in the past. And this definitely is someone from the past here. This is also people in your life. It's a habit here for some of you where they take a lot more than they give. And now you get to speak up and say, no, that's enough is enough, or I need your help, or it's your turn to, do this or run this errand or whatever. So you're going to create better boundaries, advocate for your worth, and not allow people to take more than they should. And that's really what this is representing, someone that takes and takes and takes. And also wants so much from you that they're not really ever happy. And that connects to this. So this often is like teacher, parent, or boss, Five of Swords. They come through and no matter how hard you work, they still have a critical thing. They might say, well, your sister did this, or, you said you were going to do this and you really didn't. You didn't do a good job or something like that. You didn't do enough. It's never enough, right? There's always a nitpick. And if there's someone like that, know that it's more about their own insecurity than it is about your performance, right? This can also be the little devil on our shoulder that says things like, you're not ready for this opportunity. You're not educated enough or pretty enough or this or that. That also is not valid. Five of Swords is a no-win sort of energy, and it just doesn't want you to level up. But everything that I see here, especially when we have the Ten of Wands in the near future, is saying it's time to level up. You're nearly through whatever it is that's been challenging you. Let it go. That's what it represents in the reverse. Ten of Wands is a double-edged kind of card because it represents completion and graduation, but it also has this energy of burden to it, like, oh my gosh, I can't handle this. The good news is you don't have to keep doing the work of two people. You don't have to carry the weight of a partner that doesn't want to show up in the way that they need to. You don't have to carry the world, the weight of the world on your back. So let some of that go. Let the perfectionist tendencies go. I just talked to Gemini about it, but you've got a little bit of that here too, feeling like I've got to do all of this because I'm the only one that could do this. Let someone else do it. Let some assistance come through because I feel like the next thing for you is to get a bird's eye view and to use your time and energy in a more strategic way. You may be in the process of moving. This is showing that before you go into the next place, consider selling, downsizing, or just getting rid of some of the clutter, because sometimes we carry literal baggage or energetic baggage rather, and this is a time to release both of those weights from our back, so that you can be unburdened, so you can be liberated, so you can be free in the next part of your life. Ultimately, though, whatever it is that you're trying to work on, it feels like it is nearly there. You're very close to the finish line, and I'd like to say that the creativity and this really great work ethic is finally paying off. So good for you for being really on top of things. Now let's talk about the High Priestess representing you. In this moment in time, the universe is basically coming through and encouraging you to trust yourself. Your initial instinct is the strongest, is the most connected to source. And when you end up trying to talk yourself into or out of something, that's typically when a situation gets hairy. So I'd love for you to really trust your instincts this month. Not only that, lean into any sort of intuitive activities, whether that's meditation, journaling, working with cards, anything that helps you get a stronger connection to source. That's up to you. But Spirit's coming through and saying the channel's open. Now, the card was reversed, so this can also represent someone around you that is trying to be a little pushy, possibly trying to manipulate or somehow convince you again to do something that you know isn't right. You can see through it. The High Priestess reverse, when it represents you, it's saying what worked before doesn't anymore. Someone has failed to keep one too many promises. Someone has failed to listen to constructive feedback one too many times, and now you're starting to see the patterns. Sometimes it's hard when it's someone that you love, especially when they're very similar to you, because this person has a lot in common with you, but they don't have the ability to give and to return and to show up the same way that you do. And I think that basically it's like you've outgrown something, whether it's a relationship or a job or a friendship. There's something where it just feels like you deserve more, you need more, and you're also ready for more. And that was more of the energy here of the water sign that seems to be coming through, or just that energy of love, creativity, and abundance that also wants to come through. So let's start to snip out the people, places, and things that just are not showing up the way that they need to, okay? Spirit's coming through with some tough love here. I'm all for it because there's a lot to love here. We also have, it feels like there's divine partnerships all over the place here. So we have the past, which needs to stay in the past. We have future energy coming through, which and in the environment, which seems really, really good. So this particular water sign is showing up twice. This is you calling it in, this is it answering. There could also be a lot of connections that are coming forth this month, and you're at the center of that, pulling in a lot of creative sort of energy, because we have the King of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and I believe we have the Page of Cups here too. Interesting side note, you could be also, for those of you that are looking for love, and I'll go much deeper into this when we look at relationships, but you could be calling in someone that has an extended family, already has children. There might be their own ex in the picture that is going to occasionally pop in because of co-parenting. But I feel like you're going to be able to navigate this because you came through strong in the center. And remember, your symbol was a willow. So it's about finding places where you can flex, where you can bend, where you're not going to feel like things have to be the end of the world. And I think that's going to be important here. But this is not just about love, and I look way beyond that. This could be something that really makes your day, some fantastic news. Queen of Cups can be a creative opportunity. It can be you just finding a sense of fulfillment and happiness. It can also be a really great friendship that's starting to develop. And when we're looking at all the things around you, people are very much sort of connected to this energy of appreciation, adoration, and love. Just as if we got like the Two of Cups or the Lover's card, I'm very, very happy to see Queen of Cups there. It's mirroring some of that great energy that you're broadcasting. So keep up the good work, folks. Now, in hopes, fears, and opportunities, some of you may have a difficult time conveying what it is that you expect, that you want, or things that make you feel unhappy or uncomfortable. So this is about being a little bit more communicative about feelings, allowing yourself to be vulnerable when it feels right, and also allowing yourself to take the time that you need for emotional healing, for mental health. And you can't really proceed until that cup goes into the upright position. So self-care and healing are paramount to the final success card, which is the Ten of Pentacles, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Some of you may simply be afraid that people can't give you what you want. And I'd like to just remind you that you never know until you ask, until you try. And remember that time and again, both in channeled messages and also right here, Spirit has been conveying that you are strong, you are capable, and I want to also add to that that you're deserving of whatever it is that ultimately is coming forth here in the Ten of Pentacles. This is one of the most solid cards you can get. It represents marriage, family, contracts, money, abundance, stability. It's good stuff. So no matter what challenge you have at the beginning of the month, by the time the end of the month hits, I feel like you've overcome it. And things that we want to be really mindful of so that you can embrace everything that this Ten of Pentacles has to offer, they include, again, when it comes to any sort of contract, agreement, or person in your life, they need to keep their promises, and you should feel comfortable with whatever it is that's being laid out in that contract. So honesty and integrity are everything. We also want to be surrounding ourselves with people that listen to constructive feedback, that don't just walk away, and that aren't always looking at you with this sense of it's not good enough. You are good enough. There's something going on here with this person from the past, or this energy. Again, it could be a boss or a workplace, but we need to kind of cycle that out so we can open you up to these very receptive King and Queen of Cups cards, this very deserving Queen of Pentacles, which is you at the center, and she's opening you up to Ten of Wands and Ten of Pentacles, okay? It's a good month, but something or someone needs to cycle out, and it's really important to trust yourself and trust what you're seeing in the process. The luck is changing, and we can see that already. Let's now move on to take a look at the extended forecast. And in this expanded forecast, we start with health, wealth, love, and destiny, beginning with health, and we have the Mountain. Now, I'm going to pull this card really close because the person's actually at the top of the mountain. So if you look really close, you can see that little dot there at the top. It's worth the journey. Some of you have come a long way. There might be just a little bit of a push to go, but you've got this. And as taking it from someone who enjoys a good hike, one thing that I try not to do is look at how far the peak is when I'm doing something. I just keep enjoying the process of winding around the hill or the mountain, and I celebrate how far I've come, but I try not to focus too much on how much is left. And I think as you're looking at any sort of challenge in your health, small but steady progress, that's the key to success. Some of you may decide to do something like hiking or getting outside in nature, and this card is validating that. All right, let's go ahead and also look at some of the other messages coming through. I like to remind you I'm not a doctor, but I look at energy and how the energy may affect your mind or your sort of general physical self. Work with a doctor if anything's going on. With that disclaimer out of the way, I'm focusing first on the Ten of Wands. Some of you may have a job in construction, you may be doing some home improvement, you may just randomly lift something and not pay attention. This is reminding you to really pay careful attention to your spine and make sure that you're not doing more than you should. This is also a card that we can associate with how much emotional burden or how much work you're carrying, and you don't have to do it all. Someone else needs to come in and balance out the load here because you're just one step away from it being too much. And that Ten of Wands can convert to the Ten of Swords, so we want to be careful. We'll look at it more when we go into relationships or work, but I can see it already right now. Be honest and be real with yourself. If you have a doctor's appointment and they ask you questions, tell them the truth. If you want to begin a new journey in exercise, health, or well-being, you have to feel ready for it, because if you're not, it's going to be hard for it to actually take root. Be kind to yourself. Don't let those old words from the past cycle into your head like, I can't do it, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough. King of Pentacles in reverse treats himself too much. An occasional splurge is good, but try not to go overboard with like coffee or alcohol or sugar or anything of that nature. He's giving into vices, and we don't want that. There's a lot of water here, and I mentioned that willow trees need a lot. Now we can get literal with it because we're seeing that hydration is everything, so make sure that you're balancing everything out, including getting enough water. And you may also sense an issue in your body before it kind of develops into something more. So when you get that initial inkling, talk to the doctor. We have 2 cards that are associated with parenthood here. So some of you may also just kind of feel the call to extend your family, or you may realize that you're pregnant. And it's great. I mean, like, congratulations if that's coming through, but I'm definitely getting the baby energy for those of you that want to get pregnant. And other than that, I think we've covered everything, okay? So let's move on to the next category. We're gonna take a deeper dive and take a look at wealth. The spider has been popping out left and right as I've been doing the reading here. So spider card, it's reversed. However, I don't worry about a reverse spider card because spiders can move all around in all directions. So be creative, look at it from a different angle, lean into this ability to manifest. If you think to yourself, it's not going to happen, well, you just closed a door. If you say, show me a way, universe, I'm ready, now you're starting to pull it open. Pay attention to the fine details this month, all of the fine print. It's kind of like the 3 of Pentacles where they're kind of, finishing the trim and making everything look perfect. People are going to notice your attention to details, particularly when it comes to money, to wealth, to products, to services. It's not unusual to see a spider in money cards. When we're looking at 10 of Pentacles in some decks, that's actually what you'll see, or the Wheel of Fortune, because it creates a web and it attracts. So this is a really good card here. I'm getting a little bit of both. I mean, we got the 10 of Pentacles already, but this also connects you to the Wheel of Fortune. Each day, the spider resets its web, clears out the stuff it doesn't need, and waits for that opportunity. And when the opportunity comes, it seizes it. So be ready to take action. That's going to be one of the most important things this month. Let's go ahead and break this down into 3 categories. We're going to look at those that are working, including entrepreneurs, then those that are seeking work, and then finally we'll wrap up with students and retirees. Let's look at those who have a traditional job. I see 2 very different sort of perspectives here. I'm going to focus on the positive and then look at the challenges. 10 of Wands, 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Wands can represent a transfer, an opportunity to move from one company to another or from one position to another. So leveling up or potentially moving. 10 of Pentacles shows a raise or promotion. I like that. However, historically, there are some reasons that some of you may be pausing. The 7 of Pentacles, when we're looking at a company, for instance, can represent a company that isn't forthcoming with changes, with developments, with problems in their own leadership or their own legal matters. And it feels like some of this is starting to come to the light of day. And you have to really ask yourself if it is isolated or if it's something that you've seen time and again. If it's something that continues to persist, I think it's time to move in a new direction. But this could also just be someone that, handshake and a promise. Oh yeah, we're going to keep you in mind for this, but then they went in another direction. So if you want to stay, get it in writing. Whoever it is that sort of just says, I've got you covered, they don't. And you need to have a paper trail for sure. You have what it takes to go next level. But whoever it is that might be overseeing you, or the HR contact, whoever it might be, I just feel like they're not accountable or trustworthy. There's a lot to like, but there's a lot to also have like some red flags here and kind of like decide if this negates this. And if that's the case, it might be time to look somewhere else. This is also just a reminder for you to not overextend, like I said earlier. So if there's something and it's just too much or you haven't done it, don't fake it. Don't say you can handle it if you haven't before. Make sure that you're honest. Make sure that others are honest. Continue that energy and make sure that, again, this pattern doesn't repeat. It feels like you're very capable and there's just a lot on your plate. So for those of you that are taking on more than you normally do, This is where you want to keep records, and you want to use that as an opportunity to leapfrog into something new. There are too many bosses here. Some of you are in a very top-heavy organization. We have a king, a queen, a king. This is too many leaders. And we need more sort of variance in all the different roles. It could either be a very flat organization where everybody has sort of like the same title, or there's too many bosses and they're all just overseeing a very small amount of people doing the work. So that can explain why this is sort of happening here. So basically, here's my takeaway for those that are working. You're actually in a good space. These two cards are showing success. You also have the capacity to affect change or movement in your career. So if you want to stay, kill them with kindness, focus on citing examples of why you're so valuable, and then put it out there and ask and get it in writing. But if you consistently think, you know what, they keep promising, they never deliver, I'm tired, I'm ready for something different, then use your good skills and networks, because there's so many people here. I also feel like you might have a great network, and find something new, okay? That's all I have to say with that. I wish it was cut and dry, but there are nuances here where I see potential for growth, but I want you to get it in contract form to make sure that you trust that it's going to happen. Also, when it comes to anything, look at all the fine print and agreements. Make sure that you're keeping up your end of the bargain and vice versa, okay? Let's move on. If you're an entrepreneur, I think that there are a couple of challenges and opportunities. First of all, some of you have more sort of demand than you can keep up with the Ten of Wands reversed. And all these people can represent the opportunity to kind of build out your organization. I see growth and I see potential for a lot of income here, but it does require having enough staff. So make sure that you're staffing up for ebbs and flows, holiday seasons, etc. In the past, you may have made an error in communication. I think the key thing here is just to make sure that in the future, you're very forthcoming, and good PR is basically just to get ahead of an issue before it really becomes an issue and be as honest as possible. Sometimes there are customers, clients that you can't make them happy. The Five of Swords represents someone that is always going to want more. This can just be a tricky client, by the way. So if this is someone who fails to pay their bills or tries to say, well, we're supposed to get this, this, and this, they're stretching the deliverables. You have to also kind of lean back into the contract, get a lawyer, push them to stay accountable. Ultimately, you're delivering a really great outcome here. So much like the people that are in a regular company, we just have to lean on honesty, integrity, and at the end of the day, a contract to protect yourself. Make sure that if there is a potential to hire people, that you have HR and that you also have a non-disclosure and that you're doing everything like to the letter of the law. That way, if there's an audit or anything, you're protected. But I do see growth, and I do see a challenge in keeping up with demand. So make sure that you're mapping out for the next year and be creative. Be an innovator this month, because this is being one step ahead of competition. Your creative approach is what sets you apart, both in your marketing, in your design, and also just in the product or service itself. Kindness, creativity, and something that people really can get behind. That's what you want to focus on here. And keep that price point at a good place. Ten of Pentacles is basically you're worth it. So don't undercut. It's a common theme this month, particularly in entrepreneurs, but you especially, Ten of Wands, Ten of Pentacles, it's a good product. Okay, let's go. Oh, one last thing. When it comes to like mailing times, postal things, delivery dates, again, make sure that you're not kind of like cutting yourself too short on this one. Give a range and try to deliver at the short end of the range rather than the longer side. And that's going to help you, because I feel like there's, again, promises that haven't been kept. So we want to get realistic, especially when it comes to when someone can expect to have something in their hands. All right, job seekers. With the Ten of Wands in reverse, you could actually find a really great job. It's a bit of a challenge. This is a learning experience for many of you. However, with this challenge comes great creative growth and a lot of development. So some of you may be maybe even going to a place where they allow you to go to school to get the training that you need if you agree to stay there for a year or something like that. But I like what I see here when it comes to potential growth overall. Where can you find the job? Through existing networks, of course, but also for many of you, there's an encouragement to lean into school alliances. So whether that's high school, college, or maybe some sort of a class or training session that you took, all of the alumni that you have from that, that's a great starting point. Also, just existing friends and family members, great starting point. And this is asking you to go backward and go into your past. There might be a job or a connection that you forgot about, and this is a time to reach toward them, reach out to them, because they might be able to help you with a future opportunity. A move may be necessary, or travel may be necessary because of the 10 of Wands. I've been seeing lots of travel cards like 6 of Swords and 10 of Wands in all the readings, so this is a consistent piece for most of the signs. You're no exception. We also have like the multiple of 10 here. So from the time that you watch this, it could take 10 days. This could also be a 2-month journey for some of you, from the time of the first meeting to the final interview where you sign on the dotted line. And some of you might need to meet with like 4 different people, because we have 4 different personalities popping up here. Here's an interesting thing. I'm looking at the web here, and it's kind of sticky. So I want you to try not to, I'm seeing maybe talking yourself into a corner or saying something that people get stuck on. So give room in a conversation for the other party to react. Try not to over-explain. Breathe a little bit. Communication is going to be really important on the interviews. All right, looking at students, you're actually in a really great place. I'm focusing on the future trajectory here. Feels like you're soaking all of this in. Just like I said at the beginning, many of you might be enjoying the creative opportunities coming through. I like the student life elements here as well. I think that you may be so eager to learn that the extracurriculars are going above and beyond. Don't exhaust yourself. Don't burn yourself out when it comes to editing the paper or, volunteering for professional organization. Everything in moderation here, because you really are tracking nicely here. So don't overdo that. That's the only thing. But when it comes to just your general work and work ethic, it looks good. As I was saying, there's either a boss or a teacher this month where you're never going to make them happy with the 5 of Swords. Just make sure that, you don't allow that to get under your skin. And then again, when it comes to partnerships on like working on a project or something, if there's someone who consistently doesn't do their share, don't partner up with them again. Or if there's a teacher that you don't like, really learn from the past and go in a different direction. For all of those that are retired, it feels like you might want to build something new. I'm looking at this spider now as resetting, starting a passion project, starting something that's really just exciting and engaging. You might be building something here as well. Try not to do it all on your own. This card can show stress, fatigue, etc. But most of these are creativity based. So arts, crafts, creative endeavors, intuitive development, all of that is just jumping off the page. And I think the main thing here also is to create some boundaries with friends and family members that might be, just wanting too much. This is your time to have fun and to kind of like play in the sandbox a bit. All right, let's move on. We're going to take a look now at love and relationships. The card reads abandon worry, and it is reversed. And that basically is saying sometimes it's just a little too much for you to do all on your own. So this month, if you feel like you're constantly the one that is playing the role of therapist or support person for everyone around you, push back a little bit. If you need help, reach out for support. And if your partner or friend or whoever it is in your life that you care about also needs help, but it's more than you can give, help connect them to a resource. You don't have to do it all right? This is also very much like a 9 of Swords card, which says that, a little bit of preparation, a little bit of worry is fine, but when we focus too much on every possible scenario or focus on the worst case scenario only, it inhibits our ability to excel. And I really want you to kind of work on this idea that your luck is changing and things are moving in the right direction. Let's break this down now into 3 categories: those in a relationship, looking for love, or single and happy. If you're in a relationship, the first thing that I get is levels of complication here. Some of you could be living in an extended family. So we have like grandparents possibly living with you. There could also be children or grandchildren, blended family. I also mentioned some of you may be previously married, and we also are now seeing the children and the ex in the picture. If there are any levels of this configuration that apply to you, the most important thing here is to make sure that you understand you can't make everybody happy. This 5 of Swords energy can represent any one of those family members where, especially if it's an older patriarch or matriarch, they're always going to compare their method to yours. And unless they're paying the bills, one of the things that you can remind them is, you're always open to feedback, but this is your home and this is your space. And sometimes you're actually not asking for feedback, especially if it's challenging your parenting styles. So creating boundaries and creating spaces too, where, you can be, or the kids can be, or the grandparents can be, so that there is some semblance of harmony. Not all of you are in that big blended family, but we do also see potentially like a really big group of friends or just a lot of people around you. And I think the important thing here is not to get lost in the shuffle, to make some time for each other. I really do love the blending of energy here. You being very grounded, this person being very passionate and compassionate. And I think you're going to be able to navigate the challenges around you. A couple of other things that I'm picking up on for those just in a traditional relationship. One or both of you have a lot that you're handling at the moment, whether it's work or emotional challenges or just life in general. So really make time to be with each other and let one another know how to show up. I also think that you have a good ability to intuit one another's needs. So if you feel like you need to talk about something, do that. If you feel like something's not worth the fight, listen to that as well. The only thing missing from this spread, we have swords, but not the type that I'd like to see. Clearer communication, more honesty, and know this: if you want to sweep something under the rug, it's not going to stay there. The 5 and the 7 of Swords here are basically saying that it's important to be honest and talk about hopes, fears, and challenges from the past. Once you get past that, it's actually pretty good in the future here with the 10 of Wands, the 10 of Pentacles. You might be selling your house, some of you right now, and that could be some of this bringing up some things from the past here. But overall, I like the spread, and it feels like I just get the vibe of a lot of love and a lot of friends or family or network around you. And trying to find a way to coexist with all of that, that's the big challenge for existing relationships. For those of you that are looking for love, here's an interesting thing. You could have a core group of friends that is so invested in your happiness that when a new partner comes in and maybe you invite them to a party or gathering, these people kind of come in and they're pushy with their questions. They may even say something like, you better not upset my friend. Or a family member could do this too, like, don't you hurt my daughter's feelings or something. So encourage well-intentioned friends and family to just pull back a little bit and trust that you can make good decisions and give this person a chance to prove themselves. Now, if you just met somebody, find out a little bit about their past or their history. It does feel like there's something that they haven't yet told you, 7 of Swords. Also, listen to, how well they take feedback. And 5 and 7 of Swords are not ideal in partnerships, but this one's pretty much in the past. So I think as long as you're not connecting with this King of Pentacles character, you're fine. But there could be a little bit of something in the backstory with the new person that you meet that it takes time to learn about. If you're asking like where you could meet this person, it feels like they bump into you just out and about. You could be at the grocery store, getting your car fixed or doing some sort of errand. This is very much running an errand, and it feels like you just connect there. I get so much water. It feels like it's Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. Literally, we got one of each of those. So you have options depending on which water sign you want to connect with. Don't underestimate your potential to manifest. If you're ready, say you're ready to the universe. I'm ready to find a great connection. Keep in mind, this person may be very ready to get serious. So if you're not ready to commit or move in or have a family, I definitely get that vibe for some of the people that are coming forth. Then be clear when you're meeting someone that that's not what you're looking for. And better yet, focus on manifesting someone that has a different, sort of interest set so that it aligns with you. Otherwise, I see someone that may either have a child or want a child or want to quickly get into a relationship. Okay? If that's what you're looking for, great. If it's not, then again, focus when you're manifesting. For those that are single and happy, good for you. It does feel like in this moment in time, it's an opportunity to build, to create, back to even the spider. Create, manifest, and focus on the details. And don't worry this time. Here's the cool thing. When you are single and sort of unattached, you can really focus on going in the direction that you want without feeling pressure from someone else. That being said, you don't have to do this alone. This month in particular, you have, 5 court cards. So this is a chance for you to really, again, meet new people from different walks of life. And I feel like growth, financial growth, personal growth, projects, opportunities, all of these things are kind of bubbling forth. The only thing that can hold you back is saying you're going to do something and not doing it. So really hold yourself accountable and hold others. And then just insecurity, feeling like you're not ready. There's literally opportunity that's just coming toward you here. So trust in yourself, believe that you're changing your luck, and know that that is the first step in doing so. All right, now let's take a look at your destiny card. We have pure nature coming through. I love this. For many of you, this is an encouragement to get out there and experience things and to be yourself. There's an element of the star in this card, which is natural. Just allow things to be exactly the way that they are without feeling like you have to put on a mask or any level of artifice. You're perfect the way that you are, even though we talked about perfection being overrated. You're exactly the way that you need to be without having any additional changes right now. All right, let's go deeper into sun, rising, and moon sign messages and see what's coming through for you, Taurus. Sun, rising, and moon. In the sun sign, we have strength coming through, representing exactly what we talked about earlier, which is the strength and the flexibility to deal with any challenge that comes your way. Strength often indicates that it's important to take the lead, to push a little bit more than you normally would. It may not be something that you're going to do consistently over time, but in this moment, finding your voice, using your voice, speaking up, it will be advantageous. It is worth the trade-off of just kind of putting yourself out of your comfort zone. This is also a reminder to focus a little bit more on your health and well-being, particularly your physical health. So if this is something that you don't spend a lot of time worrying about, this is a time to work with your doctor to make sure you're getting enough rest and exercise and that you're eating well also. Ultimately, though, I just see this as a victorious card for overcoming a challenge. So keep up the hard work. You're tracking in the right direction. For rising sign, we see a change of perspective. I'd like to turn this in the upright and pull it really close to the camera. So always a component of this card is something that didn't go the way that you want. Typically, these 2 cups are in the background, but in this particular deck, they have the person embracing them. And to me, this is really powerful because it represents the power of shifting your perspective. When you go and look at that silver lining, that relationship, that opportunity, whatever it is that's coming through and saying, I know this didn't work, but it's all the sweeter now. That's when your life really starts to shift. That's when you start to connect with this, creating new luck. Moving on to the moon sign, we have the Magician in reverse. You have the power, but do you have the focus? This card is one of the best cards for creating something new, stepping into that path of empowerment and manifestation. But sometimes all of the elements are overwhelming. It's like, which one do I focus on? What do I want? Get very clear on what you're trying to do and really focus your time and intention in one direction. Once you do that, things really start to align. You start to feel like the creative channel that you are, and then you can start to manifest in real time. Now is your chance to ask one final question And let's see what Spirit has to say. This can be anything that I haven't yet covered in the spread here. Go ahead and send that question out to the universe, and let's see what the answer is. All right, so if it was a yes or no, the Five of Wands shows me that there's a more effective way. So it's saying, yes, you can do this, but it may be a little bit more work than you think. Yes, you may do this, but the people around you may be a little bit more competitive or may not be working completely with you to accomplish the goal at hand. So be willing to work a little harder than you might imagine. You can still do it. I think there's a better path, or there's a better opportunity though. So keep looking and don't settle for something that doesn't feel right. Generally speaking, this has some other advice that I want to bring forth. Now is the time for collaboration, cooperation, and connecting with one another rather than competing, because this typically is a card that shows competing energies and wills, overlapping responsibilities, and there's just a chance for more organization. We see a bunch of people that are getting ready to kind of like hit down a wasp nest, or a hornet's nest. You don't want to do that. So if there could be a situation where you can just see that it's a buzz with drama and you don't need to get into that. So pick and choose your battles and elevate your time and energy. Spend it on something more important. You may have to step into a leadership position in order to get people out of this sort of competition phase. But all of that being said, this is a hard-working card, and that's the key to success. Your hard work will pay off, but try to avoid situations like this where people, they're just working against each other rather than toward a common goal or interest. This is especially true because you have the ability to create positive trajectory. Remember, you're making your own luck this month. And we saw that one of your powerful traits is creativity, manifestation, focusing on the details, that you're further up that mountain than you might realize. And that we really saw that part of the key to success this month is letting go of trying to please everyone and do everything and really connect with like-minded individuals here. This 10 of Pentacles represents a solid end point. So if there's anything that is making you feel like you can't do it or you're not deserving of that, I beg to differ. And you have more power than you're giving yourself credit for this month. So trust your judgment. And trust that high priestess energy, which is coming through loud and clear. All right, everybody, that's it for this month. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment below. You can also give me a follow on social media so you never miss a future video. Remember, I don't offer private readings or use direct message. So if anybody's doing that, basically block, report, let me know about it. Another thing that you can do is give back with super stickers, super chat, and also memberships. It's a great way to give me a little bit of support and allow me to do more videos just like this. And I just like to say thank you. Thanks for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. I wouldn't be here without your love and support and your desire to continue to work on yourselves. Thank you for allowing me to be the medium in the channel to bring all the messages here. And I just want to say I appreciate you. Check out my daily, weekly, and monthly videos, all of which are on my main channel page. Let me know what you think. Take care, everybody.